All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We try to do this every Saturday, 6:30 a.m. But next week we are going to go back to 6 a.m. California time and 9 a.m. Eastern time. Rajiv ji is with us. Rajiv ji is a U.S. immigration lawyer. And Rajiv ji, today we want to talk about. I think I got a lot of H1B questions.
Sure,
Hopefully, they
go
are
ahead.
all here. But mainly like lottery results are out now, they are trying to figure out what to do with this lottery, whether to go forward. um, Lottery selected, but my OPD is expiring or Stam OPD is expiring. What do I do in that state? And things like that. So before we get into the questions, like, do you have any common questions that were asked to you? Any new things?
The same question that I talked about the last time we were discussing as to the safest time to transfer employers. If you
Hmm.
want to change employers after you get your H1B, when should you do that? So, as I discussed the last time, I prefer that you stay with the sponsoring employer at least a couple of pay periods um, once your H1B kicks in. Now, before that, if you're on OPT or STEM OPT with some other employer, that's fine. So that was the bottom line we talked about last week. And I
Hmm.
would repeat the same thing. People were asking me about, yeah, this is one question I was getting asked that they saw my article in the Economic Times about why national interest waiver is good.
Hmm.
Um, they wanted to know if they could start working once the NIW is approved. Unfortunately, if you are India born, you cannot. And if your spouse is also India born, so if your spouse is born in some other country, you can take advantage of it. Otherwise, NIW has long term benefits. But for short time work authorization, you still need to look at other options like CPT, O1s, and depending upon which country you are from, if there are any other kind of visas. So
Hmm.
those were the questions being asked the most.
Okay. Um, One of the questions that were asked to me was, I got my H1B lottery picked, but this was my last attempt. So my STEM OPT is expiring. Wh- what do I do from like expiring? Let's say it is expiring in June and this change of status doesn't happen until October. So in that 3 months, like,
Yeah.
what do I do?
So people whose OPT or STEM OPT is expiring after April 1st, they have a very good chance of being covered by something called gap extension,
Mm.
right? Gap extension. How does that work? So let's say my OPT is expiring on May 1st. Okay. If I get my H1B filed on or before May 1st, well, before May 1st, I can automatically continue working till September 30th. Okay.
Mm.
And after that, H1B should kick in unless my H1B gets denied. Now, cap extension is automatic. I don't even have to do anything about it. But if you want to, or your employer wants you to, you can go to the school. And once school knows that you have filed for change of status to H1B, they should issue you a new I-20 called the cap I-20, which contains the endorsement that you are covered by cap, and therefore you can continue working till September 30th. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Once again, after April 1st, if your H1B OPT is expiring before April 1st, we have issues, and I'll discuss them in 1 minute. But if it's expiring after April 1st, then if you
Mm.
get your H1B filed before your OPT expires, you can
Mm.
continue working all the way to September 30th unless your H1B gets denied. Now, if you file it through consular processing, it doesn't work. You have to file it
Mm.
for change of status.
Right.
Now, what if you are not able to file by May 1st when your OPT is expiring, or your OPT expires before April 1st, before
Mm.
the kickoff date of the filings? What do you do? Well, there the rule is you have a 60-day grace period. If you are able to file your H1B within 60-day grace period, you cannot work, but you can continue to stay in the US till September 30th.
Mm.
Okay, so it's
Mm.
get a hookah and watch IPL time.
Right.
Hookah.
Got it.
Hookah. Hookah.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
नहीं तो मेरे
Cool.
को ब्लेम करते सारे गलत
Yeah.
गलत काम करते हैं, राजीव ने बोला ये.
Right. Uh, that's good. Okay, that is good. Um, there was another one which I'm forgetting, but hopefully they are here, so they can ask that question.
So
Let's
this
let's.
I have received on LinkedIn like 15 times. And I
Yeah,
keep telling
yeah,
people, guys, wait for the recordings, watch the recordings, our channel, our community calls, UD's community calls.
yeah.
We cover these issues so many times every week.
Right, right. Okay, let's get into the questions, and I'm sure they'll join shortly. So, hello, UD and Rajiv ji. On first year of OPT with the approved I-140 under National Interest Waiver, applying for Stam OPT, will it difficult to travel internationally and return on valid F1 visa?
This is a very good question because, see, on the one hand, you have a student visa, on the other, you have a green card approval in principle. So, does that not militate against your non immigrant intent? And the answer is usually no.
Mm,
Usually, it does not because the recent pronouncement of policy from the Biden administration very strongly recommend that just because you have a green card pending or approved should not be a reason to deny your F1. So chances of that, if you look at something older than about 4, 5, 6 months where I've spoken about this issue, I used to express my doubts,
mm,
including I have another comment on this on in the Economic Times about whether you can apply for a green card while you're still a student. And I expressed some reservations about what happens if you want to travel as a student because you
mm,
have a green card approved or pending. So between that time and this time, there have been some policy changes and they've been expressed in writing. So short answer, YOLO boy, you should be okay.
nice. Okay, cool.
He sounds like the skydiving kind.
Yes, yes. You
Not
live
quite
only once. I'm going to US embassy. I'm working with call center for 5 years, but she not giving me visa.
Yeah, Adil, that is the reason, na? Because if you were going for a student status, then you have a big interruption um, in your student life. So it might
Mm,
become more questionable. And if you were hoping to get a business visa or a tourist visa, if you are single, it can be difficult. Ultimately, it is a judgment call by the visa officer. Not much anybody can do about it.
mm. Okay.
One word of encouragement, though, in a small percentage of cases, first 1 or 2 times people get denied, third time they get approved. Uh, one of the ways you can do that is travel to other countries also, so that you have a
Mm,
history of being a traveler.
mm. Okay. Here's I hope she's here, but she had sent me that I can't wake up 6 a.m. So can you ask this
Acha.
question?
Oh, I see. We can wake up, we can come and visit you whenever you want.
I know. So I was like, then I told her the same dialogue that you tell in the live session. You know how much it cost?
Yeah. I was
But
thinking about it this morning, Yudi. I
mm,
was thinking about how much I hate charging people who are still in their formative years of career. Because,
mm,
but I have to because I have only that much time in the day. Um,
yeah,
other than we do so many community calls, one every Thursday, then one with you on Saturday. So we do so many community calls. It's impossible not to charge, unfortunately. But
yeah,
if you can
yeah,
come here and take advantage of these calls, we love that because
right,
we
yeah,
have the more the merrier. And usually in any one season, there are only those 20 questions that keep coming up time and time again.
right, yes, yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Can I write blogs for free on F1
Yeah,
OPD?
yeah,
Okay, nice.
absolutely, Prachiti. Musa.
Uh,
I
so,
know Musan.
s-
Don't I know
mm,
Musan?
maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe
I
there
think
was,
he was there, maybe, or
wasn't
she
he?
was there.
He
Yeah,
or she, okay.
yeah.
SUNY Buffalo admit in BS criminology. What are the visa chances with ranking? I don't know anything about criminology or the ranking of
Sunny Buffalo, I mean, decent, but
School is a good school. There's no doubt
yeah,
about that.
yeah. But
So
I don't think that just because you're going for BS criminology, like they'll just reject you outright. I think there's just
me,
so many factors, right?
happy spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's difficult to predict, Muzan. A lot depends upon how you present yourself. I personally find that in life and in visa interviews, being upfront and honest about who you are, what your intentions are, is always a good idea. So, for example, if you're coming from India and you have no idea what you're going to do with your life, um, you are a student, you're still figuring things out. As long as you are a serious student, I think you should be okay. But if you try to play any kind of games and you try to make up stories, most of us can spot a liar. And these guys
Mm,
are well trained, usually, the visa officers.
mm.
So if
Yeah.
you're upfront and honest, chances are better, I think.
Yeah. All right. My H1B got picked up this time and I've applied stamp pending approval. OPT expired in January. And what do I need to do?
So because you applied for your STEM extension already, Aditya, you are covered. Somebody asked me on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
They said that, by the way, it was our 31st anniversary of the law firm day
Oh,
before
very
yesterday.
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
That's
yeah,
nice.
thanks. Actually, it is 33 years, but I got into LinkedIn 2 years later. So going back to what I was asked something about this. So guy says to me, he says, Rajiv, my STEM is expiring in a month. Okay. Now, sorry, my OPT is expiring in a month. My H1B is filed. Okay. They were very quick, super quick. They got it filed, or they're getting it filed by the 20th, something like that. Okay. So, should I file for my STEM extension? And
Hmm.
I said, yeah, that's what I think you should do. What is the guarantee that your H1B is
That
going to
you'll
get?
get. Yeah.
And by the way,
Hmm.
I am noticing a very disturbing pattern, both from the Department of Labor as well as USCIS. There are a
Hmm.
lot of denials, sometimes quite inexplicable. You can't really explain why they are getting denied.
For H1B or
For
OPT
H1Bs also.
extension?
For H1Bs also. We have to be very careful. So yesterday I was reviewing a case for a sales engineer. I'm worried about that job because there is no clear indication how this guy has gotten his approval for sales engineer for four four different times. He's like in the 15th
Hmm.
year of his H1B. But I still worry. We've done all of them,
Hmm.
had no issues, but I'm still like, I don't like this title. Okay. The
Hmm.
systems analyst is another one. It has gone up and down. Systems analysts were perfect, no problem. Then in between, they started becoming a problem. Then they were again perfect for a few years. Now, again, there is some doubt, do system analysts qualify easily for H1B or not? The only title that appears to be relatively safe are software developers, QA, and testers. That seemed to be what
Hmm.
one category. By the way, QA and testers were a big problem for many years.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these titles keep evolving. Data scientist is another a very difficult title to predict. So gotta
Product
treat them very
managers
well.
are another one.
Product managers, absolutely, you're right. Um, People
Hmm.
want to apply sometimes as a project manager, and that
Yeah.
too is a computer category, all others, which is quite complicated to get through. So yeah, you can get stuck at any point. What is the guarantee you'll win the H1B? So you should hedge your
Hmm.
bets. तो कम से
Hmm.
कम STEM OPT बनवा के रखो अपना, you know.
Hmm. So
But
in his case, he applied for
I
extension.
know. So
Yeah.
he says, what should I do? So wait until H1B is approved, then you can decide what you want.
But can he continue to work?
Mhm. Because if you apply for your STEM OPT
You
within
get
the life
180
of your
days.
OPT, you've got the grace period of 180 days to continue working.
Hmm. Acha. Okay. Okay.
Right?
Got it.
And also, I think he might be even covered by cap extension. I'm not sure if he got his H1B filed yet or not. No, it expired in January, covered by the 180 days rule.
Hmm.
And once he gets STEM OPT, would he be covered by cap? I think so. I think so. Something to discuss with the school. I think he'll be covered by cap.
Nice, because he
Well, he's
applied
on
it.
F1,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if it got approved, then his
Yeah, he doesn't
SAM
need it.
OPT
But if
is
there's
not
a gap and there's some issue, we
right.
can
Yeah,
always
yeah,
argue that it's covered by cap. So he's got
yeah.
two kind of fallback positions.
Hmm. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Part one question looks like there's part two as well. So, I was not
Right.
selected in third H1B, and my STEM OPT is expiring in July. My employer is willing to sponsor me for an L1B, which requires me to move back to India for a
Ah,
year. And what would you recommend? Pursuing an L1B or pursuing a second master's degree doing the day one CPT program? Considering my employer is going to try for H1B first and then L1 from India too.
Faisalji, this is such a difficult decision to make. Okay. There are some things that give me some reason to doubt. L1Bs are very difficult to predict. There's no guarantee
Mm.
you'll get an L1B. Okay. Because L1Bs were misused a lot by a lot of companies. So the government is very suspicious. If you can't get an H1B, they do an L1B. Okay. So I personally think L1B after 1 year is difficult. I'll explain to you the technical issue. So, what is an L1B? An L1B is an intra company transferee. IBM India sends somebody to IBM US. Now,
Yeah.
L1B is a specialized knowledge employee. Specialized knowledge can be two types, advanced and special. Okay. What we are trying to say is that you have some subset of knowledge combination which is unique to our company, the way we do our business, or much advanced in relation to the market engineers, other engineers. The problem is, first question I always ask when I start looking at an L1B case. Okay, you are saying you know something, some inside story of the company, the way they do business, their software, or their combination of hardware, software. We've done all kinds of cases. Um, you've worked with this company just for 1 year. When did you become specialized knowledge employee? Because the requirement is you must have worked as a specialized knowledge employee for 1 year. Okay.
Mm.
So typically, somebody who's worked for the company for 2-3 years becomes specialized knowledge employee after a couple of years of working with the company.
Mm.
अभी माँ के पेट से कोई विद्वान तो नहीं पैदा होता ना.
Mm.
अगर आप
Mm.
कहें कि upon birth I was PhD, that is difficult to swallow unless you are अष्टवक्र, वो बहुत बड़े योगी थे.
Mm.
तो
Mm.
माँ के पेट से तो कोई नहीं पैदा. तो नॉलेज कब आपकी स्पेशलाइज्ड हुई? Difficult case
Mm.
to make. So be careful with the L1B. It's very easy to say kar denge L1B. Yes, it is possible, and yes, you could skip through. Government may not notice these issues, and not every government officer who reviews your case may spot this issue, but most of them will, and they will say, "Okay,
Mm.
when did you become a specialized knowledge employee?"
Mm.
You say after
Mm.
1 year. Well, 1 year, though, you have to have worked as a specialized knowledge employee. But when
Mm.
did you become qualified to be called a specialized knowledge employee?
Mm. Okay.
On the other hand, if they say, we will give you an executive or managerial level position in India, and that can happen from day one. You don't have to have any experience. So
Right.
L1As are a lot more predictable and better than L1Bs. So I'm not crazy
Mm.
about it. We thoda talk to their lawyers. I'm sure they know about this issue. Thoda soch ke iske baare mein, then plan. Don't just
Mm.
jump on the opportunity.
Right.
L1A
And
करते हैं तो
so,
जरूर, because L1A leads me to EB1C.
mm, interesting. Okay. And L1A cannot be extended, but it's for 5 years, correct?
L1A is for 7 years. L1B is for 5 years.
Acha, okay,
And
okay.
even
Got it.
L1B can be converted to L1A, but not EB1C if you have 6 months remaining and you get an executive promotion. So I can get you two and
Mm.
a half years, 2 years more on an L1A. So you know
Mm.
how H1Bs can be extended if you have a green card pending.
Yeah.
L1 has no such rule. So you can keep trying for H1B every year that you are on L1 also.
Got it. Okay, right.
So these are all these
So
things
he.
we plan for the companies, because whenever I get hired by a new company, first thing I want to see is all their employees, how many years remaining, which visas are
Mm.
they pending on. Especially some of the
Mm.
multinational companies, it can get quite complicated. We had one company, we still have them, who has over 150 subsidiaries
Mm.
all over the world. It is so difficult because to figure out, you have to zigzag through their entire genealogy.
Yeah.
Which company belongs to which other company, then belongs
Right.
to which company. Oh my God, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
But
it is.
uh, but if you do it right, L1As are a lot more predictable than L1Bs. L1Bs, I
Mm.
can never tell you if you're going to win or not.
Mm. And so second part of his question is L1B versus day one
अभी मैं क्या
CPT.
बताऊं? I can tell you what I think about the L1Bs now. Second master, that's your lookout. Whether
Mm.
you should do a second master's or a PhD, I don't know. Personally,
Mm.
I did so many masters, I got sick and tired of school. I did not want to look at school anymore. I didn't even want to teach in a school anymore. Universities, I could have
You would be a
naturally.
good teacher, you know.
No, I wanted to be, I love to teach, but even being in the university campus and being an adjunct, I got tired of living in 5 feet by 3 feet rooms.
Mm. Mm. All right, let's move on to the next one. But I love that insight about L1B. Okay, I'm currently on F1 OPT, applied for change of status F1 to H4 and EAD. Online status from
Good.
I-765 is now showing new card being produced.
Yeah. You sent me a message on LinkedIn also.
Hmm.
Same person. And
Okay.
now I think now this is a common issue.
Hmm.
Government makes all kinds of errors. So what you should do is you should contact the USCIS customer service. Okay.
Hmm.
Explain to them what the problem is, and then follow it up with some kind of a letter in writing. Address it to the same office where the I-539 came from, saying that I've received these two notices. Which one is the true notice? And I've also contacted the USCIS customer service. So put it in writing as well as talk to them.
Hmm. Hmm. Am I Faisal is asking, am
No,
I
no.
allowed to continue? Hmm.
Following the completion, no, grace period, pe, Faisal, you can't work. Man, that name Faisal brings me so many memories of gangs of Wasipur.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
remember that movie?
Yeah, I do. I
What a
do.
powerful, powerful movie.
Yeah. Any update on pilot program?
Well,
Yeah,
it
there was
tells us,
something.
Hisham, it's, I think you're talking about the visa. Khan Saab is also old customer of ours.
Mm,
Um, they are actually, I saw the government had asked for input from stakeholders. So American Immigration Lawyers Association had sent them some comments. I think it has had limited usability simply because there's such a narrow window of who can apply for the H-1B visa. First, it's got to be a renewal. It can't be the first time. Then the visa has to be issued from specific consulates within specific time periods. So that reduces the usability. If they open it completely, it'll be very helpful.
mm. तो अभी तक कुछ आया नहीं मतलब
Hey,
there's no.
but because they are gathering input, that makes me believe they are going to move to the next step.
Okay, got it. What's the secret of maintaining this youthful look?
ये ये लोग ना चने के जाल पे चढ़ाते हैं मेरे को ये बुड्ढे को बेवकूफ रहा उसको क्या पता चलता
No,
है
I agree with them. I agree with them. Especially if they meet you in person. Like I was shocked how tall you were. I mean, I did like because in the screen I can
बैठ
only
के तो
see.
बैठ के तो हर आदमी छोटा लगता है यार
Yeah, but like sometimes you can judge the personality or height, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Razak Saab, don't do things that offend your conscience. I think that's very important. Stay happy. जिसमें आपको काम में आनंद आता है. Even my exercise philosophy is the same. I never do any exercise I don't enjoy. And I have
Hmm.
exercised pretty much every single day of my life.
Hmm.
So, just do things that feel right to you. और ये
Yeah.
इतना another interesting thing is every few days the philosophy of exercises changes. So first there is high intensity interval training.
Oh,
Now
right,
there is
right, right.
zone 2 training. Then there is strength training. Then there is aerobics training. अरे जिस दिन aerobics करते हो उस दिन strength मत करो. What nonsense.
But I knew the answer, what you were gonna say. Like, do what makes you happy and
Yeah,
don't do.
don't offend your conscience. क्योंकि जो आपके अंदर बैठा है ना उसको पता लगता है कि you are doing
Hmm.
something wrong. So don't do anything.
Hmm.
So just be happy. सब ठीक है.
Hmm.
Emerging
Anything on?
technologies. Shubham, वो तो लगा दिया था मैंने. October 30th को it came out. October 30th, I put it on my blog on immigration.com. I noticed, I'm very proud to say I was the first guy in this country to notice, at least as far as I know, because I keep track of all the immigration developments. So I looked at the section 5 of the order. I was like, that is very good. I was excited like a little kid because it said, look, and they said, the order was about artificial intelligence. So it's Biden administration's order on AI. Okay, you can go to my blog and take a look. Section 5 says that we recognize AI and critical and emerging technologies. So they combine the list in that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Biden said, we want to, these are the technologies that are keeping us vital and alive and ahead of the world. Because if you
Mm,
look at it, we don't have any edge in production. China took that away. Now India is coming in also. Uh, we don't have any edge in anything other than STEM fields.
mm,
There also, China is catching up. Okay.
mm.
In space technology, CERN, Europe is ahead of us, as far as I can tell, though NASA is very, very powerful. But I mean, I would say in subatomic particles and in uh, in the physics realm. So our science technology, especially technology, was what was keeping us vital and ahead of everyone. So that is an acknowledgement by the government. Now, what has happened is there has been a huge blip in uncertainty simply because artificial intelligence, which by the way is a lot of it is overhyped. I use 5 different kinds of AI every day, and I can tell you, it is as dumb as you can get and as smart as the question you ask. So it all
Mhm.
depends upon what you ask and what you expect and how smart you are in your own field. If you think you're going to get an answer on immigration law, forget about it, because it's still formative. When you get an AGI, I can talk about it because AGI would be learning while we are sleeping, and AGI will be consuming millions of bytes, billions of bytes of information, while and it'll be doing in a hive mind. A lot of
Mm,
people will be working together and sharing knowledge and training each other on the data. So that's a nightmare as well as a dream come true. Nightmare
mm.
because we don't know where it ends up. So because of
Yeah.
the AI, a lot of the jobs starting looking very, very glim. So we don't
Mm.
know what's going to happen. Now, there was a lot of overhiring by the tech industry. So the whole thing is kind of, as far as I can tell, I'm not an expert, but what I can tell is they overhired, and during the COVID time, our entire
Yeah.
landscape changed. There was an
Yeah.
overhiring, and now there's a shedding. So again, they'll be hiring. The problem with AI is you don't need a lot of people, but you need a lot of very well
Smart
qualified
people.
people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't need somebody who's just got a degree in computer science. You know, somebody um, who can code, who understands data
Hmm.
science, who understands the principle of AI, deep learning, all those things. So all of a sudden, the way we hire has changed. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
What's going to happen anyhow? So Biden administration said, you know what, Mr. Government Agency, let us make plans to keep these people in AI and emerging technologies working, researching, and studying in the US. All 3 aspects. So student visas, H-1B visas, O-1 visas, J-1 visas, all of these could be seeing some good responses. National interest waivers, EB-1As, EB-1Bs, maybe all of them. However, the many dates that were given, 90-day deadline, do this, 120-day, do this. The last one of them is 180 days, which is about April 29th, by my
Mm.
calculation, right? 27, 29, somewhere there, right? So we might see some changes in policy. Already there was an acknowledgement of STEM fields by the USCIS, and they had made some. If you look at the USCIS, there's footnote 14 on EB1A page. If you
Mm.
go to the EB1A USCIS policy manual, I believe it's
Mm.
footnote 14, where they acknowledge the importance of degrees from R1 universities. So R1 universities are those universities where there's a high level of
Uh,
research.
Research. Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
so yeah, so there is already an acknowledgement, but what I'm
Mm.
hoping is by April 29th we might see some more interesting developments.
Mm.
I have no
Interesting.
reason to say this it's going to happen. I've seen no
Mm.
movement in it, but Biden has said that, so we'll see.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Exciting. All right. I got selected in H1B lottery and my 12-month OPT expires this June. Will I have to file my STEM OPT extension or do I need to apply for
Harshi,
STEM OPT?
if your H1B is approved, so here is the problem. Okay, until the H1B is approved, we don't know it is approved. Okay,
Mm.
even then you have a little bit of a problem. What if you get laid off before October 1st. Now you don't have your OPT and you don't have your H1B. So this raises a whole new set of issues. Overall, applying for STEM, if you don't get for approved for OPT, is applying for STEM if you don't get approved for H1B is definitely a good option. So wherever
Hmm.
it is possible, you should do it. But do it in consultation with your lawyers so it doesn't interfere with your H1B in any way. I don't see why it would, but go ahead and talk with them anyway. I don't want to take over the case. I can give you the direction, but I can't tell you the steps you should take.
Hmm. Hmm.
So normally having a STEM OPT as a backup is a good idea. Take it.
Hmm.
So what if you get, let's say you get your STEM OPT approved, right? If you don't get it approved, you've lost it. But let's say you get it approved and then you get converted to H1B on October 1st, or you're supposed to. What if you get laid off before October 1st? You can actually go to the school and say, convert me back to STEM OPT. If you
Hmm.
can prove that your H1B has been withdrawn or revoked by the government, you can get your F1 STEM OPT back. But
Hmm.
if you never applied for it, it's gone.
But that wouldn't be applicable if the change of status has happened, like
Why,
October
even if
1st.
it has happened and it is revoked before October 1st, you can go back and revive your STEM OPT.
Hmm. Okay, got it. Interesting. Nice. Cool. I'm working on OPT. My company is not sponsoring H1B. If a consultancy approaches me that they will sponsor my H1B, does this mean I can work for one company and still file H1B via
Yeah,
consultancy?
Shlok. So hypothetically, yes, as long as that company, the consultancy company, has a job for you, a real job for you. So there's no requirement that they can only apply for your H1B lottery while you are working for them. So you could be working for company X and company Y could be applying for your lottery and even applying for your H1B. But there has to be a genuine job. They can't make stuff up. And the companies can't be related if two companies are applying for your H1B.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope it's
Will
making
you
it clear.
No, I think it was, I mean, yeah, it was clear. Zishan is asking, will you explain the change of status from age 4 to F1 for age out kids?
Yeah, Khan Sahab, everybody is doing F1 and they're going through quite smoothly. Okay. Every now and then you might run into some RFE that says, well, what are your ties to India? What ties am I going to have? My family is here. I
Hmm.
don't have any ties to India. But
Hmm.
government has been, in general, quite benevolent and easygoing on these cases. हो जाना चाहिए.
Hmm. Okay. My H1B got picked this year. I've applied for my STEM OPD pending approval. My OPD is still valid till the end of May 2024. I basically still have 2 years. So, what are my options here?
तो सुरभि वही तो बात कर रहे हैं पिछले से कितनी देर से हम लोग. What we are saying is
She
maybe
may
she
have
joined
joined
late.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't join late. That's another thing. Wake up early. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
They're probably like you do वैसे भी 15-20 मिनट लेट आता है तो क्या
Uh, so, yeah, but you know what? One sad thing is this morning I went to see a group of friends because I
Hmm.
knew you were going to be late. And they're just 5 minute drive away. They all hang out at a coffee
See,
shop.
today I was up at 5:30 and that's why I texted you right then. It was like, are we meeting? Because we usually you'll text me like 3 a.m. and I'll have a text from you asking that if we are doing this or
No, but
not. So I was like, I did get the text. I was like, oh wait, let me check if we are or not. And since you didn't reply till 6, I was like, okay, maybe we are not.
no,
So I'll
I
just
was
go.
with these guys. They are a bunch of lawyers and doctors, local guys in Arlington. We hang out quite a lot. We used to. Now I don't have time, but we used to. So here's the sad thing. At a certain age, people start acting surprised. Oh, you're still alive. I was like,
Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah.
You
And you
forget.
actually ask some of our older people who are in their 80s and 90s, who are
Hmm.
long-time Arlington residents. Somebody said,
Hmm.
George is still alive and Lynn is still around. I was like, all is okay. So everybody's
Nice.
talking about these old guys. I was
Nice.
asked this question. I
Nice.
said, we
Yeah.
were worried. We thought you were gone.
Yeah. Yeah. But Surbi, just go back to the very beginning. I think that's what we
Let
touched
me
on.
let me let me summarize this for you. So what we said was, if your OPT expires before April 1st, you will not have any way to continue working till October 1st. Assuming you don't have STEM OPT, you only have OPT. If it expires before April 1st, then there is only one question. Can you get your H1B filed within the 60 days grace period after your OPT expires? If you can stay in the US. But you can't work. If it expires after 60 days, then you go to India. I mean,
Hmm.
if your H1B gets filed after the expiration. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, for people in your situation, when you have an OPT and a STEM OPT, I have told people if you can file your STEM OPT extension, once the H1B gets approved, then you're automatically converted to H1B on October 1st. There's nothing to do then. Work with your lawyers, make sure you do it right. But STEM OPT should be applied for in consultation with your lawyers.
Hmm. Okay. Is it safe to travel to India with pending STEM OPT application?
I think pending may, I don't remember from our chart. So if you go to immigration.com
Hmm.
and in the search engine, you type immigration search, you type travel. And you'll see that on the right hand side top, it has various components of our website, travel in the news, travel. So there's travel in my blog. When you click my blog, the very first entry that the search engine gives you is travel while you have OPT stamp, OPT pending, H1B pending, all those things. So we covered that once. It was in 2021. It's still good law.
Hmm.
So just take a look at that. I don't remember off the top of my head what I've advised.
Hmm. It says do not travel until STEM OPT is approved.
Whatever it says. That is what I had figured out. I sat down, I figured out from the regulations what everything says. A lot of
Nice.
details. You can show them what it is. Do it step
Yeah.
by step. Really.
Okay. Here we
Do it step
go.
by step. Go to immigration.com
Yeah. So
and
you would go
in the
to
search engine,
there
Hanji, search
and then
engine
just
type
type
travel.
travel. And then on this side, you see
Yeah, there's my
blog.
blog. Yeah, and the very first
And
entry,
then,
F1 schools travel.
yeah.
So
And then right here it says STEM OPD applied and first year OPD is still valid. You can travel if you have this. But the STEM OPD applied and first year OPD expired. Do not
do
travel
not
until the
travel.
STEM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there
Prachiti.
you go. Very.
Names are so difficult, you guys.
All right. So I was looking at the residency program in US that requires me to work 4 days a week during I am enrolled in 13 to 15-month master's program. Can that cause the problems in future?
France, is that your full name? Oh my lord. Franz Xavier Joseph Conrad Graf von Hotzendorf? Lord Almighty. Looking at a residency. So, France, is this what kind of residency? Medical residency can't be a master's program.
Yeah,
One
need
second.
more
I'm
detail.
looking at a residency program that requires me to work 4 days a week. I'm enrolled in 13 to 15-month master's program. France, I have no idea what you're asking me because
Mm,
yeah, tell us more about. Let's find out what kind of residency program. Is this a part of your schooling, the school where you're doing a master's? So those two are the most important questions we need to know.
yeah, yeah. My passport expires next year in May 2025 with my H1B lottery being picked. Is it okay to apply for my new
Yeah,
passport after my H1B petition is
yeah,
approved?
yeah. Should be okay.
Oh, that was another one. Someone's passport got stolen, or like, yeah, like basically they got their car got jacked. So if they apply for a new passport, do they have to give F1 visa interview again, or can they do their new passport
Uh,
will come with a stamp?
no, there's no new passport. See, remember, passport is issued by the Indian government. Visa is issued by the US government. So
Right.
they don't have so much love for each other that they go kisi kisi and here is the visa on it. That's not how it works. You'll have to apply for it again. But they would have
Mm.
US consulate will have a record that they have already given you the F1 visa. That might make it a little easier, but you do have to apply again.
The Dropbox भी नहीं है. Like you can't
I
do
think they can
Dropbox
do
for.
Dropbox, but I'm not sure. I have to look
Hmm.
at the every few months things change around. I think Dropbox should be available for him. especially if he's never
But
been
what
denied.
what happens like if your passport is expiring, you are like getting a new one. You don't really have to get a new
No,
visa, right?
no, because then you get
Yeah.
two passports. No? So
Right.
you'll carry
Yeah.
two with you, old with the visa stamp, new which is fresh and new.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This one was done. Okay. What are the B2 extension approval chances after getting laid off on H1B?
Good chances, Nikhil. Again, go to our frequently asked questions on immigration.com, as well as go to my blog. Fifth entry from the top tells you how to apply for B1, B2. One quick thing for everyone who's applying for B1, B2. Question number one, we want to hire you. You don't need a lawyer for that. But if you still have more money than time or you're nervous, go ahead and hire us. It's not needed, frankly. I think it's a waste of money. Number two, because I put down everything what you need to do, cover letter, how you
Yeah.
prepare it. The only thing I did not put down, whenever I get a little chance, I'll do it. When you do it online, you can do B1, B2 um, by mail or online. So if you do it by
Mm.
mail, do it by the 50th 50 day. Don't wait too long. Okay. If you do it online, do it by the 55th day, 5 5. Okay. When you do it online, it says, what is your current status? And by the great intelligence demonstrated by the USCIS, they have every visa except H1B. So
Mm.
then you can't say I'm on H1B status. So what you do is they have H1B1. Just pick that one and put in the cover letter a screenshot showing that there is no H1B choice there. So as lawyers are advising, you picked H1B as the least incorrect of the
Mm.
options. Not a big
Mm.
deal. It'll be fine.
Nice. Cool. Came to India for visa stamping of H1B change of status. Received 221G for additional docs and interview. Gave the interview in Chennai on 26th March and again received 221G with passport
Yeah.
returned. How long can I expect?
I'm getting 221 Gs in the most obviously approvable cases. Dentists. I mean, why are you giving a 221 G to a dentist? I don't understand that. Dentists, physicians, professors, and of course, everybody who's in the tech industry. For whatever great reason, the government is putting everybody through 221G. How long it is going to take is impossible to predict. Could be a couple of weeks, could be many months.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. On OPD with H1B picked with C2C contract to C2C
Talk to
employer.
God.
Okay. Uh, Project until 12/24. Concerned about H1B approval risk for an hourly C2C employees without benefits. Seeking
No problem.
clarity on H1.
No problem. Surya or Suraya, I don't know how to pronounce this, Miss Badrinath. So, is it a guy or a girl? It is a girl.
It's a
Okay.
girl.
So, there is really no law that says H1B employees must be given salaried employment. They can give you hourly employment. Okay. So, we do hourly cases, especially physicians working in emergency rooms, etc. Very common to do hourly. Uh, Benefits is an employer problem, not an employee problem. So if they discriminate against H1B people, not giving them benefits, they are in trouble. But you are still okay. Okay. So do I have to, as an employer, give benefits to my H1B employees? No, as long as I'm not giving them to anyone in my workforce, because benefits are not a requirement of the law. Okay. So hourly is okay, no benefits is okay, as long as that's how they do it for all their employees.
Well, but there could be like different types of employees, right? Like
Mhm.
part time
Yeah. Yeah.
contractors.
So
So,
parity within the same category. Again, I'm not an
mm.
employment lawyer. That they need to discuss with their employment lawyer. See, we have a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
lawyer for everything. We coordinate with all kinds of lawyers. You should see mergers and acquisitions. You have an M&A team, you have immigration lawyers, you have business lawyers, you have
yeah.
contract lawyers, you have tax lawyers, you have, if it's an international, you have all kinds of international, private international law issues. So it's a lot of fun
Mm.
working in M&A. Nobody seems to know what is going on until we actually get to the final documentation.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'm on OPT working for two employers. When applying for STEM OPT I-765, which employer information should I put given I
You can
wanted
do
to
both.
work?
You can do both, Jackson. Just make sure the I-983 is signed by both, and your and they have to be at least 20 hours each, from what I understand. Um, you have to run it by your DSO, make sure they are both covered. But yeah, you can do for multiple, no problem.
And so
You must like to work.
you can work for two employers even in STEM OPT more
Yes,
than 40 hours. Okay,
yes.
nice. $1 million question. Will there be a second lottery this year?
माधुरी पहली बार सुना है ये क्वेश्चन. It's difficult to say. There are so many variables. We talked about it last time also. Because how does the government decide how many people to pick in the first pick of the lottery? So what
Hmm.
they do is they say, okay, we have 55,000 open slots. We have historical data for the last 3 years. And the historical data says if we have 55,000, we should pick about 62,000 people, 7,000 extra, because 7,000 people will not apply. So we
Hmm.
need that extra 7,000. And if that 7,000 is an underestimate, and actually 10,000 people don't apply, then they have 3,000 surplusage and they do a second lottery. Right? This year we have no data.
Hmm.
Government doesn't know how many people are going to apply because we don't have those multiple lottery situations, right? This is the first year we are
Hmm.
running this kind of lottery. We
Yeah,
have no data.
right. So,
This is common sense. This is not black magic. This is just common sense. I don't have any inside information. But what I'm thinking is because we have no data, the government would have generally, because they can't take back H1B that is approved, right? So they would have been more conservative than aggressive in their estimate because they can always run a second lottery. They can't take
hmm.
back something that is already approved. Make
Hmm.
sense? Right?
Yeah.
So that makes me think, yeah, well, if their estimates are conservative, and because of the state of the economy in the tech industry, there might be fewer people applying than we anticipate. My own office is telling me that there are people who are careful about applying. So people used to apply without regard to what happens in the future, because employers have their liability also if they hire somebody and they're not able to pay. Okay. And if you
Hmm.
fire somebody after October 1st, you have to give them one-way ticket back to their home country.
Hmm.
Okay. So the answer is there are things that say second lottery should happen, but then we don't have any confirmation either way. So just wait and watch. I know it's pins and needles for most of you guys. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. Happy B I think he was there last time or she. It was she. I think that's right. I just started a role on OPT and have two chances for H1B lottery. I wanted to know how much it costs for a company to sponsor an H1B visa.
Okay, so if you go to our website, immigration.com, and on the very top ribbon, you have fees, our fees. So when you click on that, it shows you what we charge. Every lawyer is different. But it also tells you what are the normal expenses, fees, etc. So take a look there. Maybe that will give you some idea of the range.
Hmm. Hmm. But
So
I mean, if they do like, I guess if someone is filing for a lottery, they would consider filing for entire thing, not just lottery, because the filing for lottery is like less money.
that's just $10. Right now it's just $10. This year it was 10. I think next year it's going to what, 100 plus something. But remember, it's the employer who's supposed to pay. That's another question that get asked a lot. How do I trust my company? Okay.
Hmm.
So one sure sign that the company is a sleazebag company is if they ask you to pay anything.
Hmm.
H1B employees are not allowed to pay for any part of the H1B process. If the company asks you to pay, they are sleazebags. Run away from them as quickly as you
Unless it's a premium processing that I think you can pay
can.
for
I am
yourself.
not
No?
advising even that anymore. What happened was,
Oh.
last many years I've been advising it's okay for employees to pay for their premium processing. Then I
Hmm.
saw a couple of cases from the US Department of Labor. USCIS has never said one way or the other, but normally they follow whatever the Department of Labor says. Um, Department of Labor said in these cases that no, no, even premium processing should be paid by the employer in most cases. Okay.
Hmm.
So my interpretation was that when the employee is requesting premium processing for their benefit, not the employer's benefit, then it
Hmm.
should be okay for the employee to pay. I still think, but I would rather just not take a chance. If I was advising
Hmm.
the employer, I would say just go ahead and pay.
Hmm. All right. Do you think it would be useful to file litigation against Department of Labor for firm to delay?
Perm delays are not that heavy. It's the prevailing wage delays that are horrendous. Perm is now, right now, it's about 12 months, which is not, well, it's not as good, but it used to be 3, 4 months. Um, can you sue? Yeah, of course you can sue. Are you going to win the case? Difficult to say. There was a case decided in the DC circuit called track.
But even if you do this, it requires money, right? Like you'll have to
Well,
have a
if
lawyer who.
you get enough people together, it's not that expensive. But if you
Oh,
are,
okay.
of course, 1 or 2 people, it's expensive. So there's a case in, you can actually read this. Just Google it on Google Scholar. Don't do it on regular Google. Go to Google Scholar and just
Mm,
say TRAC, track delay analysis. Okay. So they have these factors. I think there's 6 factors they look at. And it's very difficult to predict which way it's going to go. It also depends upon the circuit you file in. If you file in DC circuit, you'll probably lose. If you file in some other circuits, they are more kindly disposed towards delay cases.
mm, mm,
See, because there is no right to adjudication within a certain time period. What the government does is, or the court does is, they say, okay, you say the time taken is unreasonable. Okay,
mm,
you're suing. So, all right, Mr. Lawyer, you tell us what is reasonable. Who decides what is reasonable? There was a case in DC Circuit many years ago,
mm,
which was the Board of Indian Affairs. So, Board of Indian Affairs is when there is a tribe that says, look, we want to be recognized as tribe so
mm,
that they can open a casino and make lots of money. Okay. So, that process was taking 10 years.
mm,
And they sued. I believe they lost because the court said, well, who decides what is reasonable? So
mm,
unless there is a law passed by Congress that says you must approve these applications within 6 months or 7 months, there is a desire by the Congress to have everything adjudicated within 6 months, but that's not a hard and fast deadline. So it depends upon the court. One court will look at it and say, well, there is an indication in the law that says that is a reasonable estimate. And then another court will say, well, that is just an expression of um, expectation, you know, कि बड़े होके USCIS क्या बनेगी? It is just an expectation. It is not
yeah,
binding on USCIS. So it's a chance. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. All right. I'm currently in fifth year. L1B expires October
Oh,
2024. Can I go to India and
okay.
continue work for US worker pay
Yeah,
until October?
yeah, you can and you should be. So if you go back to India and you want to work from there on the US payroll, that's a tax issue. There's no immigration issue there.
Mm,
So just work it out with your accountants. It shouldn't be a problem.
mm.
And after 1 year there, you have 5 years again to come back.
B1 visa going to expire this
Yeah.
month end, but my H1B petition on process. Can I go for B1 renewal?
Yeah. Karthik ji, what I'm thinking is you're asking about B1 extension, not visa. Visa is a stamp on the passport. So if you receive B1 approval and you want to extend it again, you can if you have a good reason for it. Sure.
Mm, okay. My employer sent my H1B extension petition with 3 locations this week. One of them has wrong zip code. My
That's true.
H1B is expiring in August this year. Is there a way to correct this?
Yeah, it should be okay. Is the zip code wrong in the LCA or is it wrong in the H1B paperwork? If it's wrong in the I-129, I don't care. LCA should be correct. And you can always file a new LCA. There are some couple of ways to correct this situation, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. So double check
Hmm.
with your lawyers. But this is an easily correctable situation. There are some variables that should point out to what works best for you.
Hmm. My I797 was approved for company A in Jan. Company changed its name to company B. Now I have an offer from company C. Okay. What documents do I need to from company A or company B? From
So
my.
if it is just a name change, Devashji, sorry, it's a very easy transition. So name change is usually one document that says on this date, this company changed its name from Microsoft to IBM. Okay. I think Microsoft people will kill me, but let's just say that's just an example. Okay. So that's just a one-page thing. But if
Mm,
it is more than that, if there's a stock acquisition, etc., then you have to prove that they were successors in interest. But in either case, it shouldn't be that difficult. This doesn't look like
mm,
a complicated situation.
nice.
Many
Okay.
times, if the companies are large enough, they'll have press releases, etc., that you can take copies of that show that the company was acquired. Consultancy
Company A or B is a consultancy
So,
company.
consultancy companies come in all flavors too. For all I know, you are one of the big four. So I don't know what kind of consultancy company.
Nice. Okay. Oh, look at that. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of thank yous. Nice.
Yeah, Khansa is an old customer of ours.
Is it a good idea to do consular processing or take the change of status to H1B? I
ये तो
think
बड़ा
we.
कठिन है सुरभि जी ये तो क्वेश्चन इसका आंसर तो बहुत कठिन है because it
Hmm,
depends on so many variables. In most cases, I would suggest change of status. In most cases, that's just a generic statement.
hmm. All right, I'll take one last question because we are like at time. So here we go. No, I think we did this. Did we? In
नहीं,
fifth year of H1B with I140 approved, less than 180 days. If I got laid off, I want to switch to F1 until I get admission to university. Can I temporarily
yeah,
switch to B1 and later
yeah.
switch to F1?
Yeah. Another thing, Sanjaya, this is interesting. So if you have any connection with the company, tell them not to revoke your I-140 till 180 days
Hmm.
because that secures your right to keep extending your H-1B forever almost. Okay. So if they keep the I-140 unrevoked for just 180 days, it doesn't cost them anything
Hmm.
because the law doesn't require you to hold the job for 180 days. It only requires that the I-140 does not get revoked before 180 days are over. So talk to the
Hmm.
company, tell them, guys, the least you can do for me is after giving you my sweat and blood, you can at least not revoke my I-140 for 180 days. It is not required by law and it protects me immensely. So just do that. Can you change to B1 in the meantime? Sure.
Hmm. One parent is asking questions, so I'll take that. My daughter, an Indian citizen, but born in
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain, यार
Bahrain.
ऐसा
I've
ऐसे बात
never heard
करते हैं।
of that
अरे
country or.
यूदी
Uh,
ऐसा नहीं बोलते लोग अनपढ़ बोलेंगे तेरे को
अरे बोलने तो नहीं पता है क्या है, कहाँ है ये?
मिडिल ईस्ट है ना इट्स वन ऑफ दोस लिटिल
Oh, अच्छा
नेशंस
अच्छा अच्छा, okay okay.
यूएई यूएई वाले बंदे हैं ये सारे
Yes. Okay. Will finish her undergrad in US in 2025 within maths and computer science, interning coming summer as a data science intern. Please guide the best way for her green card. Okay.
तो सविता जी बिकॉज शी इज नॉट born in India she is not in the India quota so even if she did a national interest waiver she could have a green card within a couple of years so she has you don't have to worry about her she'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that was it. Thank you again. Next week, reminder everyone, it's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern time, give or take 10-15 minutes delay.
ये give ही होता है take नहीं होता है ये Yudi, my
But
parting advice to you, do not do any exercise that you don't enjoy.
yes, I will. I will
Just
not do
like
that.
you should go play with your dog. He will exercise you completely.
Yeah, yeah. We've been doing a lot of vegetable gardening. So we, as in Caitlin, is doing it. But
क्या लगाया भिंडी
uh,
लगाई
nahi, bindi nahi. Tomato, like tomatoes, bell peppers, and then a lot of like herbs. She likes herbs. Aloe vera was another one. So
Okay,
yeah.
tell her not to pot धनिया नहीं लगाना
Mm.
because धनिया should be put in a pot because otherwise it'll take over your entire plot.
Oh, is it?
धनिया बहुत बहुत grow करता है.
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
I wish we can grow curry leaves. That
Why can't
because
you? People grow it in pots also.
curry
Why
leaves,
can't
yeah, I think it's not favorable in California, at
really?
least northern part of California. That's what I've heard, but I don't know. Like, maybe we should. It's like $80 for the plant, so I'm like not sure if we should get it or not.
स्मगल कर रहे हैं, केरला से
नहीं,
स्मगल।
बे एरिया में मिल रहे बे मतलब बे एरिया में दे गिव $80 का प्लान, सो वी
But
कैन
see,
ब्रिंग
you
इट.
can get seeds though, यार. Seeds must be a lot cheaper.
या सीड्स पता नहीं मिलेगी कि नहीं. ठीक है, वी विल
मिलेगा,
सी.
मिलेगा. ऐसी कौन सी चीज जो नहीं मिलती?
All
That's,
right, cool. See you guys next week. Thank you, Rajiv ji.
be
We'll
well,
talk soon.
folks. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. See you guys. Oh, also, masterclass for F1 visa is happening. I'll post the link as soon as I have the link to register. We are doing it with former visa counselor officer. She was an officer in Mumbai and Delhi, so I'm excited for that as well. So, see you guys in that one too.